All through the summer of 1940, the Nazis made their plans to invade Britain. Hitler eyed Britain from Calais. Operation Sea Lion was to see a combination of air and sea attack, most likely along the south and east coasts, with their flat beaches and easy terrain. In ports such as Rotterdam, Antwerp, and all along the Channel coast harbours, over 2,000 barges were prepared, awaiting the call. Soldiers were ready for the invasion of Britain, and in Britain itself there stood, waiting, the regular army and 1.5 million volunteers of the Home Guard, now armed, albeit with American First World War rifles, and uniformed in poorly cut denim. The Home Guard was being trained in all aspects of warfare. At its inception, the Home Guard really did use metal pikes, bayonets welded onto poles, table legs, antique guns, shotguns, and anything that came to hand. With German air attacks almost every night, men went out with enamel cooking pots on their heads, with badly fitting uniforms or no uniform, save an armband. With the help of training, and lots of it, and manuals such as this, the Home Guard soon became a veritable fighting force, ready to defend Britain against the Nazis. Again, the Dad's Army image would lead us to believe that the Home Guard was full of bumbling bank managers, ancient ex-soldiers and simpletons. It could not have been further from the truth. By 1942, the Home Guard was an extremely proficient and well-trained professional army in its own right, manned by men unable to fight because their occupations were all vital to the war effort. The part-time army still managed to make a huge difference by releasing regular soldiers to fight abroad in India, Burma, North Africa, Middle East and Southeast Asia, along with the Americans, Australians and New Zealanders. Home Guard men also manned anti-aircraft batteries, coastal defences, as well as arms and fuel dumps, and helped greatly in the preparations for the invasion of Europe. Without them, the D-Day would not have been possible as soon as it was. For those members of the Home Guard who showed a special aptitude, there was a secret guerrilla army, highly trained to cause maximum destruction to the invading Germans. Little is known about the auxiliary units even today, but there were 3 battalions covering Scotland, Northern England and Southern England, and full of the cream of the Home Guard. These men, all hand-picked volunteers, laid down months of supplies of both arms and food, ready to go into hiding the day the invasion started. Their job was to slow down the invasion by blowing up arms and fuel dumps, bridges, railway lines, and generally causing confusion to the invaders. Most knew that if the invasion came, they would be on suicide missions. If caught, they were liable to die at the hands of the Nazis, and if not, they were not expected to survive for more than a month or so while in action. Other members of the Home Guard learnt the art of hand-to-hand combat and how to use a variety of weapons, from pistols to submachine guns, hand grenades and gelignite to homemade bombs. Many also invented some rather crude and basic weapons and had access to flamethrowers, mortars and larger field guns. By mid-1944 it was obvious that the Home Guard was becoming unnecessary, and at its peak over 1,793,000 men were in its service. During the war, 1,206 had died on duty. With Churchill's personal intervention, the men of the Home Guard were allowed to keep their boots and battle dress, scant recompense for the 4 years of almost free service they had given to their country. In the early 1960s, despite the brief resurrection in the 50s due to the Cold War threat, the Home Guard had become just a memory for most men and women. But all this was to change when writer Jimmy Perry and director David Croft brought Dad's Army to the small screen in 1968, with some 80 episodes being made over 10 series that followed the story of Wilmington-on-Sea's Home Guard troop from May 1940 until mid-42, with the last episode being shown on the 30th of November 77, appropriately Remembrance Day. Repeatedly, constantly ever since, Dad's Army portrayed an image of bumbling leaders, incompetence and a lack of weapons. For its first few months, this portrayal of the LDV and the Home Guard is pretty accurate. But within a short while, nothing could have been further from the truth. The Home Guard had become a highly trained, efficient force, created at a moment of great danger, and with 10 times the expected number of willing recruits. What Dad's Army has done to keep what Dad's Army has done is to keep the spirit of the Home Guard alive. In the book, it's got all manner of different things, many different chapters. Some chapters I may not be able to make on YouTube because very, very dangerous kind of stuff, which probably if I made them I'd probably get banned. Bombs, fieldcraft, stalking, all about different guns, sniper posts, tank busting, I'll try and do some videos of the stuff that I can do, and I'll try and do some videos of stuff that I think would have helped them in their day.